Faith is your anchor when life throws you overboard. Have you ever noticed how we talk about faith? We say we lose it or find it like it's some cosmic set of car keys misplaced somewhere between the couch cushions of our lives. But what if faith isn't something that comes and goes? What if it's been there all along, waiting for you to recognize its power? I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Karen Mitchell, a visionary entrepreneur whose journey exemplifies what it means to hold on to faith when everything else is slipping away. Karen isn't just a business owner, she's a testament to what happens when unwavering belief meets relentless action. Her story, along with the stories of other remarkable women named Karen I've encountered, reveals something profound about faith that I'm compelled to share with you today. Faith isn't just believing in something you can't see. It's standing firm when the ground beneath you trembles. It's moving forward when the path ahead disappears. It's the quiet voice that whispers, keep going, when every logical part of your brain is screaming, give up. Let me tell you about Karen Mitchell. In 2006, she was working full time in the fashion industry when suddenly, like so many of us have experienced, she found herself laid off, jobless, income less, future less, or so it seemed. Now, most people would update their resume, hit the job boards, and pray for quick employment, but Karen, she looked at this moment differently. With nothing but college economics classes under her belt and $15,000 from cashing out her 401k, she decided to bet on herself. She opened Brooklyn's first store selling raw Indian hair extensions. Let that sink in for a moment. No business background, limited funds, an uncertain economy. And yet she moved forward with unwavering faith in herself and her vision. There were nights, many nights, when dinner was canned soup, when the bills piled higher than her inventory, when doubt crept in like an unwelcome house guest who wouldn't leave. I had to learn the flipping game, Karen told me, describing how she managed inventory with limited capital. I'd buy what I could afford, sell it quickly, then reinvest immediately. What Karen was really saying was, I didn't have the luxury of doubt. Faith wasn't optional, it was essential. Today, True Hair Company is an 8-figure empire trusted nationwide for luxury hair extensions. But the journey from canned soup dinners to corporate success wasn't linear. It wasn't a neat little story with a beginning, middle, and end that fits on an Instagram caption. It was messy, uncertain, and required something deeper than optimism. It required faith. This is the first truth I want you to hold on to today. Your faith is your anchor. When life throws you overboard, and it will, faith is what keeps you from drowning in uncertainty. But faith isn't just for entrepreneurs or business challenges. Sometimes the storms we face are much darker, much more personal. I spoke with another Karen who survived childhood abuse so severe that most of us cannot fathom it. Sexual, mental, first physical, and psychological trauma at the hands of family members, the very people meant to protect her. Statistics tell us that childhood trauma often leads to destructive patterns, addiction, or perpetuating the cycle. But Karen refused to let her past dictate her future. Instead, she transformed her pain into purpose by founding a nonprofit dedicated to supporting other survivors. When I asked what carried her through the darkest moments, her answer was immediate. Faith became both my shield and my compass. It protected me from despair and showed me where to go next. Today, she channels her experiences into helping others reclaim their voices. Her story resonates especially among Black women facing generational trauma, proving that healing begins where shame ends, often sparked by unshakable inner conviction. This brings me to the second truth. Every challenge has a purpose, not because suffering is good, it isn't, but because within every hardship lies the seed of equal or greater benefit if we have the faith to nurture it. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. That sounds nice, but my faith feels shaky right now. Some days I'm not sure I have any left. I felt that way too until I realized something important. Faith isn't one size fits all, it's deeply personal. And that's the third truth I want to share with you today. You own your faith. It cannot be defined or limited by others. Let me introduce you to Karen Black, whose story illustrates this beautifully. As manager of partner support at Economic Mobility Systems and formerly chief of staff in the Texas legislature, Karen faced the seemingly impossible task of creating change within systems designed to resist it. Navigating complex social issues like education inequity required persistence against institutional barriers affecting young people of color across Texas communities. Progress was painfully slow, victories were small, and often followed by setbacks. But Karen's faith wasn't in immediate results. It was in the conviction that change was possible, even when it seemed improbable. Rooted in this belief, she built coalitions among grassroots organizations while advocating progressive legislation such as Texas House Bill 3005, which guaranteed interpreter rights for families. Her work has advanced equity initiatives benefiting thousands, a testament to what happens when one woman's conviction meets communal need head on. Karen's faith wasn't religious in the traditional sense. It was a deep seated belief that her work mattered, that justice was worth fighting for, and that systems could change if enough people refused to accept the status quo. This is what I mean when I say you own your faith. It might be spiritual, religious, humanitarian, or deeply personal. What matters isn't the label, it's the power it gives you to keep moving forward when everything else tells you to stop. Now, I want to pause here and acknowledge something important. For many of us, especially Black women, faith has been both salvation and burden. We've been told to just have faith when what we really needed was support. We've been expected to be strong in our faith when what we needed was permission to fall apart. This is particularly true for those of us who spent years in survival mode. We've led teams, raised families, held down households, carried communities, but now many of us are exhausted. We're ready to shift from constantly grinding to finally grounding in joy, peace, softness, and self prioritization. And here's where faith takes on new meaning. Faith isn't just about enduring hardship, it's about believing you deserve better. It's about trusting that you can put down the cape, that you can say no without guilt, that you can rest without explanation. Karen Mitchell didn't just have faith in her business, she had faith in herself. The nonprofit founder, Karen, didn't just have faith in healing, she had faith that she deserved to heal. Karen Black didn't just have faith in social change, she had faith that she could be part of creating it. This kind of faith, faith in your own worthiness, is revolutionary, especially for those of us who've been taught that our value lies in what we do for others rather than in who we are. So, where do we go from here? How do we cultivate this kind of unshakable faith that these women exemplify? First, recognize that faith grows in community. Karen Mitchell built relationships with customers who believed in her vision enough to wait for quality products. The nonprofit founder, Karen, created spaces where survivors could strengthen each other's faith and healing. Karen Black formed coalitions that amplified individual faith into collective power. Second, understand that faith requires practice. It's not something you have or don't have, it's something you build day by day, choice by choice. When Karen Mitchell chose to reinvest in inventory instead of paying herself, that was faith in practice. When the nonprofit founder chose to speak her truth despite shame, that was faith in practice. When Karen Black continued advocating despite political resistance, that was faith in practice. Third, and this is crucial, faith demands honesty. Real faith isn't blind optimism, it's looking reality square in the face and choosing to believe anyway. All three Karens acknowledged their challenges openly. They didn't minimize them or pretend they didn't exist. Instead, they said, yes, this is hard, and yes, I'm moving forward anyway. This is what makes faith so powerful. Not that it eliminates obstacles, but that it gives us the courage to face them. I stand before you today not just to share these stories, but to challenge you, to disrupt the notion that faith is passive waiting or blind hope. True faith is active, it's revolutionary. It's the ultimate act of defiance in a world that tells you to shrink, to doubt, to give up. I challenge you to identify one area where fear has paralyzed you, where doubt has become your default. Write it down, then ask yourself, what would change if I approach this with unwavering faith? Not in an immediate outcome, but in my ability to handle whatever comes. Then take one bold step forward today, not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect, not when you feel ready. Now, remember Karen Mitchell standing in her empty store with nothing but $15,000 and a vision. Remember the nonprofit founder, Karen speaking her truth when shame told her to stay silent. Remember Karen Black pushing for change when systems resisted. Your faith is the most powerful force you possess, not because it guarantees success, but because it ensures that regardless of the outcome, you will remain undefeated. Challenges may change your direction, but faith ensures they will never diminish your worth. The world doesn't need more people waiting for perfect conditions. It needs more people who are willing to step into uncertainty with nothing but faith as their anchor. So I ask you, what ocean are you afraid to cross? What storm are you trying to avoid? What dream have you abandoned because the path forward isn't clear? Your faith is waiting, not lost between the couch cushions of your life, not dependent on external validation, not limited by past failures. It's there. It's always been there. The question isn't whether you have faith. The question is, what will you do with it?